Adam Schefter joins us right now. We're just seeing the story, Adam, about Trey Hendrickson. Goodness gracious. Thank you for joining us,
Yeah.
by the way, Adam. I know it's a unbelievably busy time for you. You got any other insight here with Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals?
Well, the question is he actually going to be traded? He wants to be traded. They've granted him permission to be traded, but it's another thing to actually be traded, right? Like the Bengals have not been the most aggressive team, which is why I think they've granted permission. He's going to go out and see if he could find a trade partner. But it's sort of like DK Metcalf, a similar thing in the sense that, yes, a player wants to trade, but you have to compensate the player with a new contract. You've got to compensate the Bengals with draft pick compensation. Is that going to happen, that we're going to get both of them? We'll see how that works out.
Adam, I find what's going on with the wide receivers now pretty fascinating. I mean, Deebo Samuel gets traded. Devontae Adams is on the street. DK Metcalf is available. According to reports, Brandon Ayuk might be available. What am I missing there? There was a fifth. I've said it 10 times today. I'm drawing it in a blank on the fifth one here.
Are you talking about Chris Godwin or not?
No. I'm talking about trades.
7.
But we've got 5 of like the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL all available right now. Is this any chance this is because the prices have just gotten out of control for these wide receivers?
Well, I think it's about supply and demand. You look at all these free agent wide receivers, there's a lengthy list. Now, again, there are rare exceptions, right? Not everybody is 26 years old like DK Metcalf, 6'3", 240, 4'3", 40, total physical specimen. Now, you can go get Keenan Allen. He's older. You can go get Stephon Diggs coming off an injury. Chris Godwin coming off an injury. Devontae Adams, a little older. There's nobody like a DK Metcalf. Cooper Kupp, older. So look, there's a reason that guys are available. That's the deal right now. And we'll see how it works out.
Is a DK Metcalf would a first round, and I know you're going to tell me it's going to be even more than that, but would you swap the 20? Okay, would you swap the 20th pick in the draft for DK Metcalf?
Oh, I wouldn't. Like, again, just go back and look at what wide receivers have gone for. Now, I know Tyreek Hill went for multiple picks, so you can find certain receivers that have gone for multiple picks. But I think in a market like this, to me, Seattle's going to want a 1 in return. Now, whether the Seahawks actually get a 1 in return is another issue, because not only are you giving up a 1, if that's what I think it'll be a 2 in the end, if I had to guess. Okay, maybe a 2 and something, but I think a 2. This guy's a total freak. A.J. Brown went for a 1, his former college teammate. A.J. Brown was younger. In this particular case, you're going to not only have to compensate the Seahawks, but then you have to pay DK Metcalf a new deal for about $30+ million a year. So it's a big investment at a time when there are a lot of free agent wide receivers. None as good as DK. None. Okay? It's just a question of what you want to do. That's why I think in the end it's a 2. But I could be wrong. Maybe they get a 1.
What's the market you think for Devontae Adams?
He's free right now. He can go sign wherever he wants. So we're going to find out what it is. He is not what he was. He's still an elite wide receiver. But at one point he was, to me, I looked at him like you could say he was the best wide receiver in the league at one point. Right? He's still a great receiver, still, but he's not the best receiver in the league anymore. Although he might think he is.
Garrett Wilson, is he possibly going on the market or not?
No, I don't see that happening.
Okay. I'm trying to just trace down every rumor that we've heard.
All the other guys, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. You hear so many rumors this time of the year, right? There's so much information out there. Some of it's real, some of it's not. You see how it goes.
Are the Steelers focused on signing Justin Fields, and then, I saw something today that they're interested maybe in Jackson Dart and going in that direction. Does it look like that's the direction that the Steelers are going?
They've been talking to Justin Fields, and I think whether or not they sign Justin Fields or Russell Wilson will not impact who they take in the draft. Whether that's Jackson, you just made Jackson Dart sound like a formality there, and I think we're just way early on that. Like, maybe they will be interested in him, maybe they won't. I don't know, and I haven't heard that that's the direction they're going. Maybe it will be, but I think we're way early on that. Like when Sean Payton left the combine last year, I don't think he was thinking Bo Nix at that moment. He went back to Denver, did a lot of work, went to the pro day, and by the time he got done with everything, at that point in time, well, he felt good about it, and his thinking on Bo Nix shifted. And so I don't know where Pittsburgh's on Jackson Dart right now, but we'll see how that plays out.
Adam, I saw somebody repurpose a quote from you, but I didn't see it coming out of your mouth, so I hope this is true. It actually came from you, but I saw a quote that you said something along the lines of, one of the things that you're more confident in this draft is that the Cleveland Browns are going to take a QB.
Yes.
Okay.
I said it.
Okay. So my question for you in regards to that, number one, why? But number two, if, let's say, Tennessee Titans surprise everybody, they select Cam Ward number one, do you think that the Browns would take Shedeur Sanders?
Well, first of all, I don't think it would be a big surprise for the Titans to take Cam Ward at one.
Either do I. That just makes sense.
It makes sense.
Okay, and they're going through their process right now to figure out who it's going to be. And they hired a GM late. They restructured their front office. A lot of changes, a lot of people coming together. They want to take the time that they need to come together and make their decision. They haven't made it yet. I will not be surprised if when they grade the players and Cam Ward comes out with a high grade, they say, we're taking Cam Ward, and they don't trade the pick. And then I think Cleveland takes Shedeur at 2. Okay. That's what I would think would happen. And then the Giants would be, to a certain extent, holding the bag. They got to beat the Colts late in the season, and they got to fold in number 3, and it may cost them the chance, which who knows how that's going to work out, to get one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the draft. Because if neither one of them is willing to trade, then the Giants can't get the top 2 guys if those teams go quarterbacks. Now, the Titans are going to analyze it. If they decide, hey, you know what, we're good with Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, they can trade that pick today, tomorrow, anytime to the Browns or the Giants. But they're not there yet right now. When will they go? It'll be a little time. They want to go through visits at their facility. They want to go to the pro days. So there's a whole host of things that have to happen.
Is there in your mind, you were at the combine, you talked to, knowing you, 1,000 people probably. Is there a sweet spot in this first round that you kind of want to be at or above as opposed to at and below?
I've had teams tell me, Scott, right or wrong, that they feel like the top 8-9 players in this draft are really good, and that the player that you'd pick at 10 is the same player you'd pick at 35.
Wow.
Now, I'm not far enough along to know whether that's real or not. I'd want to speak to more people. And I really don't fully dive into the draft, frankly, until after free agency. I'm about to enter into a period that is upside down every single day. And there's all sorts of movement. And when we get through that about a week from tomorrow, at that point, I will immerse myself in the draft for at that point in time, a good 6 weeks.
Well, I know you don't want to down talk other reporters, but it was interesting here, and from a Colorado perspective, that there was reporting that Shedeur Sanders was, I don't know, offensive or didn't have great interviews with teams in the top 10.
Doesn't mean anything to me. Okay. I'm not trying to punch down or step on another. I'm just telling you, like, my belief is that Shedeur has come off no issues to people. And I know people that know him, not named Dion, aside from Dion, who say that he's a great kid and that you want him on your team. Like, I had somebody on the phone. I was on the phone with somebody this morning. We were going over that exact issue. And this person was saying that exact thing to me, unsolicited, came up. Okay. Going to bat for Shedeur.
Okay.
So, as I said to Dion last week, we were on the phone this week. I'm like, Dion, there are going to be people for the next 2 months who take shots at your son because that's what this process is about.
Was Prime concerned about that?
No, he was not. No, but I said to him that, like, that's what this period is about. Everybody critiques everybody. They critique the quarterbacks more than everybody. They critique the top quarterbacks the most of everybody. And therefore, Cam Ward and Shedeur are going to be subjected to the most scrutiny, whether you like it or not. I said to him, to me, the best thing you can do, tune it out. It doesn't matter. People can say whatever the hell they want to say. Shedeur's going to get drafted high, and he's going to have the chance to show up everybody next year. That's it.
There was a time I saw a slightly out of shape Adam Schefter, I think, attempt a 40 at the combine, and I think he pulled both hamstrings or something of that nature. I didn't see any video of you running the 40s this year, but you were there. Did anybody, while watching these workouts that just jumped off the page for you, went, whoa, okay, I better look into this guy?
Me or Shedeur?
You.
You know, Scott, I think that my athletic abilities have been vastly underrated through the years. I've incurred any number of injuries doing any number of events. DMac knows this well. I am prone to slipping, wiping out, winding up being hospitalized. I've had all sorts of issues and great humor. I've provided tremendous entertainment to my wife and 2 children. I am the easiest guy in the world to laugh at. But the fact of the matter is I still have some personal athletic accomplishments that I would rival up against anybody's. How many NBA championship rings do you win, Scott? 2?
I won one as a player and won one as a broadcaster.
Okay. 2. I've had a couple of athletic drills that were unbelievable.
Lambeau
we don't have
Leap
to go
was
into
great.
them. What's that?
The Lambeau Leap was great.
That's even. I'm talking about legitimate things like in college, my fraternity, we're playing in the semifinals. I'm playing DB. The other team, the fraternity's about to go for a game-winning touchdown. I pick off the pass 105 yards down the right sideline with my whole fraternity running, won the game with the pick 6 at the end. Like, how many people have a thrill like that?
How many people have a thrill like that?
I got to admit,
come on, Scott.
That's good.
I always,
especially at Michigan,
when people give Adam a hard time about his and it happens all the time.
Well, he pulled 2 hamstrings running a 40.
I always, in my mind, think about us training for the Boston Marathon because I don't want to feel old myself, Adam. So I always think of Adam as a pretty good athlete. Always.
No. Listen, I am a klutz. I am a fool. But I care. I try hard, and you're always going to get maximum effort from me.
There you go.
Was it the Boston or the New York Marathon? You almost died when you overdressed.
That was the Boston Marathon. DMac was there, yeah. And I flew back to Denver, and literally felt like I was going to die on the flight home. And literally, the plane landed. We landed, and they made nobody get up from your seats. They sent the stretcher onto the plane. They rushed me to Rose Medical Center, and I was in the hospital for a full week.
I remember that.
The funniest part is that I was convinced that Adam had beat me because training for that, he definitely was in better shape than me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man. And so I never saw him at the finish. And I was like, oh, he finished. And that was my fastest. I ran it in 4:03. Okay. But I was like, oh, Adam must have killed me on this one. Meanwhile, I didn't realize he was behind me by about 40 minutes, like dying on the course.
But he didn't quit.
Yeah, it was not dying a slow death.
And for everybody who didn't remember that, you wore like a full body warm suit because you thought it was going to be cold out or something, right?
Story for another day, but yes.
Okay. Adam, busiest day of the year for you on Monday? Starts on Monday, is that right?
I would say this week has already been relentless and intense. Just hung up with Trey Hendrickson on the phone, about to do NFL Live. Got to be in the chair here in 3 minutes, wired up.
Okay.
And this is a busy week, but this is the appetizer to the main course on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week if you got some time, and we love you.
Sir.
We'll see you later, Adam.
Have a great week, guys.
Okay.
See you, buddy.